Hi, welcome to JCP Live. I'm Destiny with JCPenney Beauty. March is Women's History Month, and we are celebrating by having a series with some of our women beauty founders. Today, I'm excited to have with me actress, author, outspoken advocate of women, and founder of Flawless by Gabrielle Union, a hair care brand that offers affordable quality products. Welcome, Gabrielle. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's great to meet you, Destiny. I have to
Thanks.
say,
You
you
as
have amazing friends. We have a couple
I
friends in
hear
common.
I hear that and just wonderful things to say about you. So I'm so excited to have the FaceTime. Thank you.
No, same here.
So we're obviously here to talk about your journey as a founder and everything that has gone into launching a brand. But we also want to hear a little bit about what makes you tick as a woman and as a beauty consumer. So what is the one thing that makes you the happiest?
Oh, sleep. Getting a great
As a mom, as
night's
an actress,
sleep
as an
feels,
author.
oh my gosh, I feel like I have all the vibranium in Wakanda when I get some sleep. Um, Yeah, it's the best thing for your beauty. You don't get a lot of sleep. It looks like it, and the more things that you need to do. Um, but yeah, I love a good night's sleep where that REM sleep is like a nice long chunk of time. Like you softly go into like a nice slumber, you get like some deep sleep, and then you softly come out of it and you feel rested and like ready to take on the day. I don't get many of those, so that's what I love.
Yet you still manage to take on the days and all of the things. You have so much on your plate. Um, Out of all the things that you do, what are you most proud of?
My family, my family. And I used to say that, because it's kind of like, oh, this is what you say. You're a mom. You're supposed to say your family. And there's just been so many points during this pandemic where I look at my family and their resilience and their brilliance and their compassion and just our ability to stick together no matter what is thrown at us. I'm really, really proud of my family. I'm proud of that we've made it as a family, that we have made sure that we have created a safe space for all of our children to live out loud and be their most authentic selves, and that we prioritize their peace. But I don't always think that those are things that you're supposed to be proud of, but knowing knowing that a lot of us are really suffering, that just making it and staying, as a, together and intact as a family unit through it all is really something that I have a lot of pride in.
Well, I would say that that is something that you should absolutely be proud of, and I can understand why. Um, what is, do you, I think that it's great insight into you as a person, knowing that. Are there any words that you live by?
Well, it's from my sister. Very quick story. In high school, we had this miniature poodle, and as a self-centered high school person, I wasn't really thinking about anyone or anything beyond myself. And our dog had been sick for a while, but who didn't notice? Me. And so Thanksgiving rolls around, and I go to take out all the bones for our dog, and I'm yelling, "Snuggles, Snuggles!" And the whole family is like, "Oh, who's gonna tell her?" Turns out that Snuggles had died a week prior to that, and I proceeded to fall out, and with hysterical. And my older sister's like, "Okay, Snuggles is dead. Now what?" While harsh, um, it's kind of how I've had to approach life. Bad things happen all the time. Bad things happen to good people. Now what? You know, now what? What's the move? Are we getting another dog? Are you off dogs? Are we gonna get a cat? Um, but we can't stay in this same place, just circling the drain. So move on, you know, let's figure out what the next thing is. Is that getting help? Is that, you know, making a course correction? Are we shifting it in a whole completely different direction? But we got to do something. So what are we going to do? And that's my motto. Snuggles is dead. Now what?
I love it, and it's so true. It's like no matter what has happened, life has to go on. So I think that is something that probably resonates really well with most people. It sounds like you've been up against a lot and overcome a lot. What do you think is the most courageous thing that you've ever done?
Embracing vulnerability, which I looked at that and people who were just completely vulnerable as very dangerous. It just felt like, why are you giving people ammunition to take you out? Why are you sharing all of that? Like, bro. And then I realized that I was living in fear of being humiliated, or living in fear of public failure, or living in fear of what the peanut gallery was going to say. And it put me in a little cage, you know, a pretty cage, but it's a cage nonetheless. And you stop growing and you stop looking for more answers. You stop trying different things when you become a slave to hiding everything. So when you hit rock bottom as many times as I have, you know, it was a suggestion, and then it was reaffirmed by watching Brene Brown, and she does, you know, a lot of work in the shame and vulnerability space. And she said, "What if vulnerability is your superpower?" I was like, "Oh my goodness." I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna go for radical transparency and just lead with the truth, and whatever that is, good, bad, ugly, what have you. I'm not interested in running from it. And if I lead with it, there's nothing that anyone else can do to humiliate me. I own my truth. I own my own narrative, and it's real and it's true and it's authentic to me. And there's nothing to be afraid of. All you do is build community, make other people feel less alone. That is the only, that's all that's going to happen. And you will free yourself and save yourself.
100%. And thank you for sharing that. I think, you know, as you being in the public eye, it's very easy to have, you know, a picture perfect life. But I think the things that you've gone through and the things that you've shared and you've been vulnerable about make you more relatable. And I think that there are so many people that are watching that are continuously inspired by you. So thank you for sharing that with us.
No, my pleasure.
I would like to talk a little bit about you as a founder and your company, which is why we are here today, obviously. Talk to me a little bit about your journey. What you know caused you to start this company and bring this product to market?
So I had launched Flawless years ago. And it was an opportunity that was brought to me by a group of gentlemen, you know, who had heard that I had wanted to get into the hair space. And they were like, "You can have your own line. We'll finance it. We'll do all the things and it'll be your line." And I was like, yes, who wouldn't say yes to that? But very quickly, I realized that it wasn't just because it's my face on it and they're using my likeness and my name. It doesn't mean this is a Black owned company. And it doesn't mean that the textured hair community's needs are being centered in the creation of this company, in the formulation of these products, in the marketing of these products. It was just off, top to bottom. And I felt very much like a Black shield being used to exploit the community. Mm. So when I was able to get out of that deal after a couple years, even though it was successful, it didn't feel right. I wanted to restart the whole thing from the beginning. I wanted to make sure that I partnered up with my actual hairstylist, Larry Sims, who's, you know, been one of my best friends and my hairstylist for over 20 years. if I'm going to be in the hair space, why wouldn't I do it with the man who's responsible for all of my hair looks? So that was the first order of business. And then we wanted to make sure that the people running our company, the people marketing our company, like every part of this journey was centering the needs of Black folks. And it just feels better. And one thing I was not as anticipating or prepared for was the tremendous success right out the gate. And, you know, I think for a lot of founders and entrepreneurs, one of the worst mistakes you can make is not being prepared for success. I think I got so accustomed to a slower burn, you know, a slow clap. I've never been anyone's number one choice for anything. It's always like, she is okay, okay. But it's always with the, oh. But I wasn't really anticipating, and we didn't have the kind of supply that we needed to meet the demands. So this has been a humbling experience. I'm constantly talking to other founders, other entrepreneurs, looking for other ways of doing business and doing business better in a way that makes me okay going to sleep at night. And, you know, that when my daughters are looking at me, they have pride, that I not only have respect for myself, but I have respect for our consumers, and everything is centered on us, not in an exploitive way. We want to make sure, okay, yeah, we've leaned into innovation, and we took out all the harmful chemicals and ingredients that previously had been shoved on us in Flawless. Completely redid everything. But you need to never lose sight of who you are in this process and what are you about. And so part of that, you have to be kind of humble and be like, okay, this was our goal. This is what we're trying. Didn't work out that well in this area. So maybe let me talk to some more people. I'm used to being a mentor, but maybe I need to be mentored. Maybe I should humble myself and say, hey, maybe I don't have all the answers, but in talking to these other women and talking to these other entrepreneurs, maybe they have a solution to one of my problems. And that's exactly what's happened. And as we relaunched and there was so much success, we were like, we have to have a give back component where we share our resources and our platform with other Black owned businesses. And that's how Lift as We Climb got started. And now with thanks to other partnerships, we are able to actually provide more than just resources and information and a platform. We can actually start to provide some financial help where we can. So that's been huge for us.
I love that. So inspiring. Along this journey, have you had any role models or anybody in particular that has inspired you as a businesswoman?
There's been so many people. A lot of them just people I find on the internet. So there's people like Pat McGrath, who has been super, super helpful in sharing of information and being a huge inspiration, to Rihanna, obviously, with Fenty Beauty and all of the Fenty incarnations. And her team is super helpful and collaborative, and they share resources and platforms. And then there's companies like Donata Skin Food or Little Herbs Co., Black owned, female owned skincare companies that I randomly saw online and, you know, became enamored with their founders and their founder stories. And we've, you know, are looking to amplify both of those businesses because they are wildly inspiring. When you are in the thick of it and you're like, who can show me how to make something from nothing? And you don't really have to look that far. So there's a ton of people, but those four are, you know, some of the ones I lean on the most.
Okay. Well, you just named several founders in the space. Do you have any women-led brands or products from women-led brands that you just can't live without right now?
So yeah, so like my skincare I'm a little hardcore with that. So Little Herbs has these, they have oils and alternative to some like an ingrown hair solution that you spray on. So I love like their whole line. I literally bought their whole line for everyone in the household. But my favorite product is the rose gold oil. So for little herbs, Donata Skin Food. She has this hair. It's like a hair mist that you use before your butters and oils. So that's pretty amazing. For Donata Skin Food, there is this scrub cleanser from The Things We Do. That founder's name is Vanessa Lee, and love all of her skincare products as well. And those are just off the top of my head with like what I use daily. But I tend to gravitate towards, like-minded folks in how they not just, present great, effective products, but how do they move through the world? How do they amplify and uplift their communities? And that also, to me, is a part of why I, support different brands, like-minded folks, I guess.
Well, I'm sure the brands that you just mentioned are going to get a lot of support. I'm sure everybody is feverishly writing down your skincare regimen because you always look incredible. So thank you for sharing those brands with us.
Thanks.
My last question for you is, do you have any advice for your younger self or the future generations?
It gets better. It gets better when you feel like you are the only one going through something. You're not. And there is help. And there are people that care. Your presence is a gift. And it's like basically stop being so worried that you're going to miss out on something. You are the thing that you don't want to miss out on. You're the best thing there is. You're the best party. You're the best hang. You're the best friend. You're the best lover. It's you. It was you all along. And stop looking outside of yourself for validation when the only person you need validation from is yourself.
Wow. All right. Thank you. I think we all need to hear that.
Well, I think I needed to hear that myself. I almost got choked up. I'm like, really, I needed that message.
That's a good one. Sometimes we're speaking to other people, we're speaking to ourselves, right? So, well, I just wanted to thank you so much for your time today. I know you are incredibly busy, and we are so happy to have your brand. We carried it, the previous version, and we are even more excited to have today's version. And I know that our customers are going to be thrilled to watch this and hear from you.
No, and I thank you. And I especially thank, all of the JCPenney stylists who embrace the line and still talk about it to this day. And you've just been a tremendous partner, and it all really helps. So I just want to thank you guys as well.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your partnership.
Thanks.